Twitter posted. Get our Discord stuff done, and we should be good. Walk on screen. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is September 20th, and this is the September 20th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be starting off doing some minor benchmark cleanup. Specifically, we're going to be handling transitions to and from the benchmark scene because they're kind of a bit they're not very clean right now. They're using Unity's internal scene transition or scene manager, um, which functions, but it makes everything kind of feel a little sudden. There's no real fade out or transition. It just kind of like freezes, then it loads the next scene, and then it freezes and loads the scene when we come back to the main menu, and that's not exactly ideal. So let's go ahead and say start. I have changed it a little bit around so that when you come to the benchmark scene, one, it's now disabled for demo builds. I do not have the demo build flag set right now, so that's why we can see it like this. But if I were to hit continue here, and then hit escape, go to options, you can see that benchmark is now grayed out. Because I don't want people to be able to benchmark while they're in a scene, because it loads another scene completely and then does a fly through and all that, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So I just disable benchmark if you are in the actual game and you're trying to go through there. There is also something else that we're going to look at tonight, by the way. You might have noticed that the shadows are super dark. I believe that this is a 2017.4.11 issue. It might have also been in 10, but it was definitely not in 0.9. So I'm a little concerned I'm going to have to revert down to 0.9 again, just to kind of get back to actual functioning shadows. And it's weird because if I bake the light map, which I might show later, because it's I don't think too terribly long on the castle, and I can talk about something else while that's happening. But then it'll look correct in the scene, but as soon as I hit play, it seems to revert, which is weird to me. I don't really know why that's the case. But yeah, you can see that it's a problem. Wow, this is really bad, actually. Oh man, that's just the worst. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop playing. Oh, except I didn't actually show you what I was going to show you, which is the transition to and from the benchmark scene, because of course I didn't show you that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. Click, click, start. We're going to go to options, and then we're going to go to benchmark. You'll see that we just have a fade. It automatically fades in, but we're not actually in the level yet. Wow, I was going to say, geez, that benchmark transition was bad. Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to do something about that. So our actual fly through is pretty good at this point, although I do need to adjust some timing and adjust some color or some of the bake settings. But you can see like the shadows in this scene look fine, which is actually not. Actually, that's incorrect. They don't look fine. This scene has out of date light maps. Anyway, so we've transitioned through, and now if I go back, we go back to the main screen, which I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that. Also, you may have noticed that when we transition back to the title screen here, the fade view that's behind everything that lets us hide the background until the level is loaded doesn't actually fade in. It just snaps off. So we're going to figure out why that's the case. I'm pretty sure it's a small programming oversight. But it's something that I've been meaning to address for a while. So, yeah, we have a couple of things, some minor, some questionably so. But for now, let's go ahead and actually take care of the more pressing one, which is going to be the background fade problem. I'm actually not... The benchmark transition to and from, I'm not super concerned with because that's more of a minor polish issue. It's just something that's been on my list for a while and I've never really gotten around to it. But in any case, let's go ahead and, before I stop playing, I'm going to go ahead and pause. We're going to go to UI, view container. We're going to look at the background fade view. Open this up. Okay, we're going to stop playing. And we're actually going to need to go to the fade view, I suppose. Let's go ahead and just drag this over to here. And we will go ahead and change a couple of things. Well, change but close a couple of things that we do not need. Game modal button, we're good there. Modal, we don't need benchmark view or manager. All right. So our background fade view no longer fades in, or it does not fade in the second time that it's supposed to, which to me actually makes me think that either the canvas renderer here has its alpha just hard set to 1 for some reason, which is a bit odd, or our duration is 0, which is possible, but strange. So what we're going to do is, let's see here. Where is this used? BG alpha is equal to 0, fade from. We're not doing anything particularly crazy here. All right. Well, let's try this. So we're going to say... How do I want to use this? Am I even using you anywhere? I'm not. Why are you here? Yeah, we can get rid of that. All right, so I'm going to put in a debug for fade to and fade from. So I'm going to have two debugs in here. The first one is going to be debug.log start. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to do the debug down here. Right about there. And then we're going to say plus, let's grab this, dot alpha. And something that we could probably do is just, well, no, that would suck. I'm not going to bother with that. I was going to say like lerp color values, but not really what I would prefer to do. So we're going to debug that. Then we're going to debug, let's go down to here. Same thing here. We're going to go down to here. We're going to call this end. And we have a fade background, a canvas renderer, that's all fine. Okay, and this is going to be end from, start from, make sure that for some reason it's not being called. Okay, so we're going to save this, and then we will run through it again. And we should hopefully be able to see why on the second go through our fade view is just not fading. It's just snapping to either on or off. Console, we're frozen. I missed the compile wheel. Seriously, I don't know what happened to it. It seems to have gone away after I updated from 9 to 10. Or 4.9 to 4.10. It's a mystery. Alright. Through here, start. If we let this go long enough, you'll see the background fade in. Any day now. You can do it, Unity. I believe in you. There we go. Okay. And so if we hit continue, let's go ahead and quit out. Okay. And now, we're just going to let this go. But our background will just... Oh, that time it faded. Interesting. Let's try going to the benchmark then back. Benchmark. It's also interesting because That's fine. Okay, so we have this. Okay, let's let this go. All right. Now we'll see if it fades in. Huh. Well, okay then. It seems to be working now. That's weird. Huh. Okay, sure. Why not? I'm also concerned that it didn't actually log anything, but okay, sure, why not? Huh. All right then. Well, whatever. It seems to be working, so we'll just keep an eye on that, I guess. And if it comes back, then we will figure out something about it. Let's go ahead and stop playing for now. We're gonna jump over to our castle level. I'm gonna show you all the shadows. So actually, here, this is correct. Like these are the correct shadows. Um, so everything is pretty much as I baked it. Because when I originally came back in here, I rebaked the light maps because they were pretty incorrect after updating to 2017.4.11. So I rebaked them, and you can kind of see that. Looks like actually some of the white got blown out pretty bad, which is fortunately you can't really see this part very much, so it's not as bad of an issue. But still, it's pretty atrocious looking. Um, But looking at it in the scene view, this is correct. This is what I would expect. So I'm going to turn. I'm going to play. I'm going to turn off maximize on play though, so that I can see these shadows. We're going to keep an eye on those. See if they get darker for some reason. And they do. Wow. I know what it is. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Um, Oops. Of course I forgot this. Yeah, yeah, that all makes sense. It's because of this. Oop, wrong thing. Hold on. Here we are. Boop. That's it. It's because of the post process layer. I forgot about that, so I need to apply color grading to this scene. So let's go ahead and actually do that real quick. Not have post pro. I really thought that I already did that in here, but I guess I didn't. Huh. Post process effects intro. Oh, look at that. I guess I didn't. Interesting. Well, let's go ahead and duplicate this then. We will correct this mistake. And I will just real quick jump over to the sewers to make sure that I still remember. I think I have like something called post-processing, yeah. And that has my global volume. Cool. So let's go ahead and jump back to the castle. Make a new thing. We'll call this post-processing. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and create effects. You're not gonna be nice, are you? Nope. Okay. Make a new object. Post process. What? There we are. Post process volume. We're gonna call this castle. Capital C. Global. All right. Let's go ahead and go back to here. We're gonna rename this to castle. I don't actually need darkness and darkness lit. I just need the global value. So we're gonna call this castle. because there is no light and dark in the castle. It's all light everywhere. I do not introduce the concept of darkness until the second level because I don't want to overwhelm the player. All right, so let's go ahead, put this in here. And here is where things get fun. Okay, I think actually just having this contrast in there will be enough. Let's go ahead and jump in and see. Because I believe the default profiles that I have for each level are pretty decent at approximating. Oh, wow, that is incorrect as hell. Okay, so let's try this again. Blend distance is 0. That's all fine. Priority of 0. That's all good. Okay. Do I need to like? Okay, so not a lot of change happening here that I can see. So -2 was the default. I'm not getting anything from this. Interesting. Brightness, perhaps? No. Oh. Duh. That's why. I think. Maybe ambient occlusion is the problem. Nope. Nope. Great. Great. This is going well. Huh. Let's try doing a color filter. That should let me know. Okay, so nothing's changing, which makes me think that it's not actually affecting it. Let's go ahead and go back to white here. -2. Okay, we're going to set this to be global. Weight of 1. Priority is 0. That's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and save. Why? Oh, and again, I'm stupid. Of course, I forgot a step. Boop. The layer stuff always gets me. Let's try this again. And Shazam. Ta-da! There we are. Oh, that's much better. Cool. Well, that's 2 things knocked out pretty quickly. Nice. And things more or less look the same. Cool. Check out the throne room, because obviously that's nice. So everything's looking pretty good, actually. You know, I wonder if we should do some post-process effect timeline stuff, actually, for this scene. Like, try to blow out the colors. Oh, we definitely should do that, actually. Okay. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay. Yeah, we need some post-process effect stuff there. Because we could totally desaturate the surrounding environment and make the colors much more blown out. So basically, like the words magic and all the spells that are being cast would basically look like they're super bright compared to a darkness around them, and we can make that look really dramatic. Oh yeah, let's do that. Okay. Timelines. Which here we are, cutscenes. Wizard appears. King petrification. I believe this is the one that I want. Petrified particles. Yep. Okay. So before we can do anything else, really, I do need to change how, or I need to add some scripts for timelines, which I'm going to do to my common scripts. Timeline, tracks, post-processing. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I won't. I will do this on a per project basis because it's dependent on post-processing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that in common. It wouldn't make it very portable. Could you remind me of the rules in chat again? It's pretty lax. Pretty much live by the maxim, just don't be a dick about it. So feel free to post whatever. Just try not to be too crazy or too annoying to other people in chat. That's pretty much the rules I live by. I have yet to reach any sort of status where those lax rules are a problem, so. Also, I can't decide. Should I learn Java or Lua? Well, Java sucks. But that's just my opinion. If you're doing Lua might be more valuable actually. Java would get you more would be more valuable if you're going into like server or backend support. Lua has a few more applications for user-facing applications, like having the user custom script things with Lua and exposing that. So Lua might be more valuable to you. It really depends on what you want to do, I guess. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and let's just collapse these things because we don't need them right now. I will keep that open, and let's go down to here. So we have post-process. I'm going to go ahead and create a folder. I'm going to make, you know what, I'll probably just put this with the rest of the timeline scripts now that I think about it. Timeline. Let's go down here to tracks. And let's see. Put this out to here. We'll call this post-processing. Okay, let's go ahead and create folder core. Create playables, playable asset. So we're going to call this adjust post-process volume. This is the asset, so clip. Are these volumes or profiles? They're profiles, aren't they? Let's see. Yeah, post-processing profile. So I did that wrong. This should actually be called post-process profile. And it will eventually compile. I want to try the Love engine, but it uses Lua. Remember when Unity could use JavaScript, but no one used it. Actually, quite a few people used it. It was just C# is better, so people eventually moved over to it. I think when I first started out, I tried to use JavaScript, but I pretty quickly switched over to C# because that was a much more useful language to learn. Also, on the subject of Lua, I want to say that Amazon Lumberyard is coded in Lua now. Is that right? I'm pretty sure it's Lua, yeah. So, you could always learn that. Wait, my compile wheel's back. It was gone for so long. Why did it come back? Okay, weird. This is a strange night. Alright, so playable behavior. We're going to call this adjust post process profile behavior. Come on, you can do it. Alright, let's go ahead and copy this. Timeline. Except this is going to be textQuest.timeline. TextQuest.timeline. Okay. We're gonna come up to here, paste, paste, paste. Get rid of this. I hate it when it does this. Oh, good. Thank you for that. Put this back up. This is a normal day. I don't know. I keep thinking that something's going to be super hard or that something is just gone forever and then it comes back suddenly. It's weird. Is it really already snowing over there? That can't be right. It's freaking. Well, it is September. But I mean, it's. Surely it's not actually snowing there. It's not snowing now, but was it snowing? See, now I'm confused. Now I have to know. Um, well, I guess you are pretty far north. Still, though, I don't know. You're not. I don't think Oregon is farther north than Indiana is it? Or is my geography pretty terrible? It's entirely possible that it is. Oh no, yep. You are exactly north of us. That's pretty funny. Yeah, the like the northern tip of Indiana is still south of the southern tip of Oregon. So I was completely wrong there. I guess I for some reason thought you were a little further south. Um, but yeah, really though, it was that cold. Huh. That's pretty crazy though. Then again, yeah, you are farther north, so that kind of makes sense. Still though, that sucks. Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna say serialize field, tooltip, not private, sorry, protected. Oh, you know what I need to do is come up here and say using Unity Engine, not editor, dot rendering dot post processing, and we're gonna say post process profile, profile, the profile to adjust values for. Oh man, this is going to take forever. So the system I'm going to put together is actually going to be very robust, but it's going to suck in terms of what I have to do to make it look nice, because it's a lot. I will explain why in a second. Um, okay, so let's see here. We're gonna need to grab this, come down to here, paste this, make it public. Come up to here, say using Unity Engine dot rendering dot post processing. We will be good with that. We're gonna make this an abstract class. We are also going to make this an abstract class because it's just the base version. Which is funny because I can't actually do anything with create playable here now. So we're going to get rid of this, and instead I guess we can just leave this as is for now. I don't think I can actually do anything here, so I guess we're just going to get rid of these things. Come down to here. All right, so let's let that compile. And that's our core scripts. There will be some other scripts that I'm going to have to add to the core section, specifically set value types and all that, and I will explain what that is. I've been doing a lot of this at work. I'm the timeline guy at work, so I've kind of gotten a handle on how to make all the timeline scripts for things like this. So we'll be able to move through pretty quickly, but pretty quickly is a bit of a misnomer because there's a lot to cover. So I'll just be able to move fast as I'm covering a lot of material. Yesterday, and in the northern part of Oregon. Really, man. I'd say I'm jealous, except I I'm not. I like the weather to be slightly warm. It's 70 in Indiana right now, so it's certainly not 24. Okay, so we're gonna say create new script or new folder. This is gonna be, I think, color correction. And I'm going to, oops, let's close this. Let's see, let's see, it is a color grading, not color correction. Color grading. Okay, and then we're gonna have create playables. So this is gonna be adjust color grading behavior. Create playables, playable asset, adjust color grading clip. Okay. Open both of these up. And let's go ahead and close. I will keep this in there for now, I guess. Except actually, you know what? Let's get rid of this because I'm going to get rid of these, and if they come back, then I will pursue it again. But for now, I don't really care. Let's get rid of this. We can get rid of this. Get rid of these things, I think. Oops. Here we are. We're going to make this derived from that. This is going to be in the text quest dot timeline namespace. All right. Let's go back here. It's only gotten to 45 as lowest for you. It hasn't even gotten to, well, there was one night, I think, where it got down to like 59, which wasn't cold. I mean, I was fine with still wearing shorts then, but it was definitely not quite what was expected because it came out of nowhere. It plummeted like 30 degrees in one day. Gotta go. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you'll be able to survive the cold. I'm assuming by this point you're used to it, assuming that you've lived there for a while. All right. TextQuest.timeline. Adjust post-process volume behavior. Oh dear. Did I? Dang it. Oh, right. I just didn't rename it. Let's rename this real quick. This is profile. Okay, there we go. Just color grading behavior. Pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and grab this. Go back over to here. Fill these in. Get rid of this. And excuse me. All right. So we are going to say, geez, this is where it gets nuts. All right. I'm going to go ahead and let this compile, actually, because I'm going to need to add some more scripts to the core values. Specifically, we're going to need to add 2 enums, and let me think what else would be useful. That's pretty much it, I guess, for now. Yeah. Okay. So let that compile. And now, of course, the compile wheel's gone again. Okay, so it's not cool. I have no way of knowing. There we go. So we're going to add some new scripts here. Right click, create. Should it ever let me? Create C# script. I'm going to call this set type. And I need to make another one called start value type. Create start value type. Let's open both of these up and I will explain what they are going to be used for. So set type is both of these are going to be enums. Set type is going to be an enum that determines basically how our values are set. It's going to have 3 different values on start, which means that the values will only be set when the clip starts playing. On start, on end, which means that values will be set when the clip starts playing and when the clip stops playing. And then lerp, which will be values get set when the clip starts playing, as it's playing, and then when it ends playing. Pretty straightforward there. But the start value. Oh, are you kidding me? Ugh, of course. Okay, let's try that again. C sharp. Or compilation flags, I guess. Or not even compilation flags, just compilation in general. What a nightmare. I just want to open up my scripts. Is that so much to ask? The answer is apparently yes, by the way. Come on. There we go. All right, so we're going to have this derived from byte. It's going to be an enum. This is going to be in textQuest.timeline. Okay. Let's go ahead, and we don't need any using declarations up here. So set type is going to be on start is equal to 0. On start on end is equal to 1. And then lerp is equal to 2. Let's go ahead and comment these because it's good practice. So I'm going to say determines how values are set in via a timeline clip. Values are set when the clip starts playing. There we go. Values are set when the clip starts playing and when it stops. Values are set as the clip plays. Cool. Okay, pretty straightforward there. Let's go ahead and close that. Next, we're going to have another byte enum. It's going to be in textQuest.timeline. Some of you might be wondering why I always make my enums derive from bytes. That is because if you do not declare a type for enums to derive from, it is assumed that they derive from an int32, which is a integer with 32 bits, which can go up to an obscenely large number. I never remembered what the actual values are there. Which means that when it's actually storing that enum in memory, it has to allocate a little bit more space. Now, on modern computers, that's not really much. It's actually really nothing. But by declaring it as a byte, it means that it can only contain 256 values from 0 to 255. And what that does is it creates a smaller footprint in terms of resources. So I do this more as like a blood from a stone type thing, because if you do it, there's no real point in going back and converting your project to do this if you've already got a lot of enums. But if you're declaring new enums, you might as well declare them as bytes if they're going to have just a few options, because then that keeps the memory footprint pretty small comparatively. So it's just a best practices type thing. Okay, so with this, let's go back to here. We're going to say start value type is going to have 2 things. Custom, which is going to be 0, or as is that what I want to call it? Is equal to 1. I don't know if I want to call it as is or current. I might just say current. That's a little bit better, actually. Let's go ahead and grab these. Determines how values are retrieved. Start of a timeline clip. Values are a hard set custom value. Values are the current values for the target values. That's terrible wording. Values 3 times in one sentence. Or how about values are whatever target values are set to when the clip starts playing. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and go back to here. Oh, not that. Here. I'm going to add some new things. We're going to have a serialized field, tooltip, let's go ahead and say protected, set type, or not set type. This is going to be start value type, start values is equal to start value type dot. I'm going to say current by default. It's probably what I want most of the time. Then we're going to go ahead and say serialized field, tooltip, blah, 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 protected, set type. We'll just call this set type is equal to set type dot. We'll say on start by default. Then we're going to do a serialized field, tooltip, protected, animation curve. Oops, that didn't work out. Animation curve, lerp curve is equal to animation curve dot ease in out 0f 0f 1f 1f. That's a standard ease in out curve, which is usually what you want for some kind of lerping. Let's go ahead and just get our tooltips going. So how the start values for the clip are set, not set. How the target values are set on the profile, and then curve to evaluate values. Oh, gross! Evaluate values. Ugh. Along. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward. I'm also going to go ahead and write a custom, or not a custom function, but a protected void initialize just post. I got the hiccups. Why do I have the hiccups? Behavior. Okay, and all we're going to do here is say behavior.profile is equal to profile behavior.start. Oh, that's not going to do anything. So let's go ahead and move these things over to here. Go to definition. Make these all public, not protected. Okay. Let's go back to here. Behavior.start values is equal to start values. Nope, not that. Start values. Behavior.setType is equal to setType. Stop it. Behavior.lerpCurve is equal to lerpCurve. There we are. Pretty straightforward there. And now, we can go back to here. We'll just call initialize on this behavior. I don't even need to pass in the graph. That's pretty nice, actually. Okay. So color grading, this is, oh boy. Yeah, okay. God, this is going to suck. Okay, I'm going to do another thing real quick. We're going to just come down to here. I'm going to grab these, and I'm going to, well, no, that's about all I can do there, isn't it? Okay, never mind. So we're going to let this compile. And here's where things are going to get weird. Because of how I need to set this up in timeline, I want to make it so that I can't easily set values that I don't know will work. So when you're adjusting a post processing profile, good God, there's this concept of overriding values, and what that means is, let me go ahead and show you. So you can see that there are these little check boxes, and if they're unchecked, then I can't do anything. These controls are grayed out. But if they are enabled, then I can freely move them around. Now, what I'm going to do is basically set up an inspector that's going to try to mimic these as best as it can. Oh, this is going to be a lot of effort. And then it's going to disable them if they are not set for override in the target profile. And that's a way for me to not set these values on things that are not enabled already. It's a weird system, I know, but it's kind of what we're going to do. I might actually try a more novel approach. So when I did this before, because I've written a similar system at work, I kind of hand coded it, but it might be worthwhile actually, now that I think about it, to look at this, to try and just recreate the entire thing. Oh, that's gonna be a terrible thing. Oh, that's gonna suck so hard. Maybe we'll see. We will see about that. For now, I suppose let's look at post-process volume. Okay, so here's post-process volume, and the editor is what we want. So it's smaller than I was expecting, which probably is because it's just drawing the profiles editor, isn't it? Oh, this is interesting. Huh. Curious. Well, whatever. I'm going to assume that this is literally just going to draw the editor for our actual profile. Let's see, post-process profile, object field, scope just changed, disabled scope, multi-edit, create new profile. Hold on, let's select this just to be sure. So I believe, yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so we're almost down there. Clone, which is the one to the right there. Yep. So now we get to overrides. Interesting. So there's the space between it, which means that overrides should be about here. So it's changed, refresh, effect list. Ah, yep, there it is. So you can see this effect list is the editor for the post-processing effects. Let's see. I'm assuming that it's just something that's cleared there. Well, this could be interesting, so let's try this. I don't. I'm not sure how well this is going to go, but I will try this. So I need to make an effect list editor. Passing in. Oh dear. Okay, good. Just an editor. Whew. I was really worried for a second that I was going to expect a specific editor, and I would have been very sad. Not shared profile. Okay. Yep. So we're going to go. Well, actually, this is an editor thing, so we're going to have to make a custom editor now. Let's come up to here and editor. Do I not have these? Huh. No, I totally have to have them. Which means that there's an editor folder here. Ugh. Yep. All right. So we're going to scripts, then timeline, not post-process. Yep. Okay. So we're going to come up to here, create folder, timeline, create folder, process. Okay, and from there we can go to, here we are, core and color grading. I'm going to need both of those things. It's post-processing, not post-process. Post-processing, create folder core, create folder color grading, create C# script, adjust post process profile clip editor. Gross. Let's go ahead and get that set up real quick. So this is going to be in TextQuest.timeline editor. I know that's not going to work yet. Using Unity editor. Okay, and then we're going to come down to here. We're going to say custom editor type of just post-process profile clip, and then we're going to say probably, we'll just leave it like that. So we're going to let that go while you give me a squiggle. I don't think you need to give me a squiggle. You do there though. Let's go ahead and close this. We'll let that compile. I'm going to create a new editor script. We're not done with that yet. I just closed it so that I could reopen it and get rid of the multiple line endings problem that I usually get. Oh, and I probably, now that I think about it, should do that because we're going to be doing lots of code. But on the bright side, if you haven't really messed around with editor scripting, it's about to be adventurous for both of us. Let's go ahead and say create, or I guess all of us, whatever. We're going to make a new C# script. We're going to call this adjust color grading clip editor. Open this up. And now it's back. Okay, so it's just like flip-flopping constantly today. All right, so this is going to derive from this. It's going to be a TextQuest.timeline namespace. And now we can actually start the crazy stuff. So to start, we're going to need to have up here, I'm assuming, using Unity Engine. Actually, it might be editor. Unity editor.rendering.post. Is it just that? Okay. Let's see. Effects. Great, it's gone. Okay. Well, let's look for it again real quick. Post processing volume. What's the actual thing? Hold on. Let us figure it out. As soon as it actually compiles and lets me move. I'm going to take a drink. Here we are. Effects list editor. That's what I need. All right. So we're going to go ahead and save this. We're going to say, where did you go? Why are you at the very friggin' end? So it is dot post processing. Then why did you not? Oh no. Oh, I know why. That makes sense. Hold on. This is why. Not the compiling scripts part. The next thing. It's because I have assembly definition my project, so I need to have my editor assembly definition for TextQuest reference the post process editor assembly definition. That's why. So let's go ahead and come back down to here. We are going to add post processing apply. Should function. I think it might actually force this to reevaluate. I really hope it doesn't, but I think it will. Maybe. Okay, I'm just gonna let this close. Okay, I might have. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to let this recompile before we can open that back up. We will see, though. All right. Let's open this back up. God, this is gonna suck. Actually, the main trick is gonna be. Oh, jeez, yeah, it's gonna suck a lot. I wonder if I can get around that. Clever. Let's go ahead and save that. Okay. We are going to do that. Good. There we go. So we're going to say private effects list editor effects list. Okay. Then we will save that real quick, and we're going to go back to just post-processing profile clip editor. We're going to actually steal all of these. Actually, not. No, let's go ahead and just steal them from here because it'll be slightly faster. Go back to here, paste these in, get rid of these values, get rid of these values, and get rid of these values. Okay. Then we are going to go ahead and make these protected. These are going to be serialized properties. Okay, protected virtual void on enable. We're going to say profile is equal to serialized object.find property. Profile. Go ahead and copy this. Okay, pretty straightforward. And just because I like to name my editor scripts a little differently, this is how I name my serialized variables, or serialized property variables, because it lets me know that they are serialized properties instead of regular, like, temporary variables or placeholders or anything like that. Then I'm going to just make, I'm not going to call on inspector GUI. Instead, I'm just going to make a protected void draw base GUI. Do that. And that's just going to call editor GUI layout dot property field m profile. Then if m profile dot object reference instance ID value does not equal 0, then we are going to actually draw the rest of them. So we're going to say editor GUI layout dot property field m underscore start values. Okay. Actually, I probably should do it like this. It's going to be a little out of order. We're going to say editor GUI layout dot property field m underscore set type. Geez. Yes, that's what I want. And then we're going to say if editor GUI layout, not that, sorry. We're going to say if m underscore set type dot int value is equal to int set type dot lerp. And then we'll say editor GUI layout dot property field m underscore lerp curve. Okay, pretty straightforward there. And that's pretty much all I need to do for the base GUI. So now I can come back over to here, and we're going to say override on enable. I Actually, you know what? I guess I could move the effects list stuff into the post-process profile clip editor, which would actually mean that I wouldn't need specific classes for individual components anymore. Ooh, that would be cool. But it does complicate things. But I think I know how I can get around that. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna take this, put this over to here. We're gonna say using Unity Editor dot rendering dot post processing, and then we're gonna say actually hold on. We're also gonna come up here and say using Unity Engine dot rendering dot post processing, and then I will say effects list is equal to new effects list editor this, and then I will say effects list dot init, I believe is the thing I want, and that's going to be our asset. So I'm going to say m profile dot object reference. Hold on, that won't work. How are they doing it? Target. Interesting. So there's a base editor. Peek here. Return target. Okay. This is a bit much. Let's see here. So if you have no target, I'm assuming that that is fine, but how? Oh no, because that's the profile. Okay, never mind. Yeah, false alarm there. So what I need to do is check if it has a post-process value there. So we're going to say m profile dot get object. Right, of course not. Using sleepyowl.common editor. So we're going to say get object reference. Post processing profile. What the frig? I'm using Unity Engine. What the frig? Post process profile. What the heck? Why not? Why are you doing that to me? Oh, because it's doing a jest. What the heck? There we go. Really? How curious. Well, let's go back to here. Grab this. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that's where the freaking post profile. What is going on here? Unity Engine rendering post processing. Did I spell it wrong or something? No. Then why? Oh, that's why. Interesting. Yeah, that was me being stupid as well. This also needs to, of course, reference post processing. I thought I could get away with the base assembly definition file referencing it, but apparently the editor one needs to directly reference it too. So that's good to know. So they don't daisy chain, which I guess makes sense now that I think about it. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. I'm just going to assign that. I know there's two of them. I like to assign runtime before I do editor stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply there. Let's close this and reopen it because I know it's going to force me to. Let's hit cancel here. Go ahead and save, close that. Let's close this. Go back to Unity, let that compile. I'm going to take a drink. So I think my strategy for this is actually going to be a little awkward. But essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to have two dummy profiles, one that's for the start value and one that's for the end value. And basically what will happen is when you're adjusting values, will that work? Oh, that won't actually work. Oh, never mind. Shoot. I would have to. Oh, geez, that's complicated. Okay. So, my original idea was going to be was going to be to use two dummy profiles, a start value profile and an end value profile, and then I would just lerp between the values. But the problem is I would need that per timeline, which I guess isn't terrible. It just kind of sucks. Um, ugh, yeah, that's gonna get messy really quickly. The original idea was it was just going to be a temporary thing to hold the values, but the problem is that I would actually have to reference them still because they would store the values. So that's not great. Well, let's see if we can make that workflow work because it's not terrible, and that just means that I have two extra profiles per timeline. But not all timelines are going to need to really do this, so it's not. I don't think it's too much of an issue. Okay, so let's come back down to here. Open this back up. Should it actually decide to compile? Hmm. Okay, let's let that go ahead and fix that. Cool. So now if I look at this, yep, there it is. Okay. And then serialized object. Okay, I think that works. I'm also pretty sure that this will return null instead of an error. So cool. Then what we can do is we can keep our base GUI, and I'm gonna have to actually add some stuff to the clip. So we're gonna get this, and then I'm going to have serialized field, tooltip, private. I guess we'll make it protected for now. Protected post process profiler or profile. This will be our start profile. Ugh. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. Duplicate this. This will be our end profile, and this will be profile to store end values. Profile to store start values. So the idea here is going to be that when I'm editing this stuff, I will just be editing the values on the start and end profiles. And when I create them in the, well, I guess I would probably want to have a fancy editor thing to just populate that real quick. For the time being, I'm not going to worry about that, but I can just create new ones, and then I'll essentially, when I assign them, I'll make their values be duplicate values of the profile. No, I don't want to do that. I want, because I would probably, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. That would be stupid. If I create them through an editor tool, then yes, that's fine. But if I just have them automatically be set when you drag them into the fields, that's a stupid thing to do because then if I ever assign something else by mistake, I'll blow away those changes, and I don't want that. So, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and keep those in there, which does mean that I'm going to eventually need them in the base, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm also we'll keep that as abstract for now. Let's go back up to here. We are going to have duplicates here. So it's start profile and end profile. And you know what? I'm actually going to be lazy and just copy this. Start profile and end profile. Let's go ahead and copy this. Paste this down here. So I'm actually going to need two effect list editors, which is kind of funny. So this is going to be start profile profile. Go ahead and grab these things. Let's rename this to start effects list. Copy this, paste this down here for end effects list. I'm going to copy this. This is going to be our end effects list. And then let's go ahead and paste this. So this is going to be m underscore start profile, and then underscore end profile, end effects lists. All right. Whew. So I think this will work. Let's see if I can get this to look right. What we're essentially going to do from here on will be, let's come up to here. We're going to say override on inspector GUI. We're not going to do based on inspector GUI. We're going to do serialized object dot update, and serialized object dot apply modified properties. And in between that, we're going to call draw base GUI, and then we're also going to go ahead and say if m start profile dot object instance ID value does not equal 0, then we're going to do something there. If m underscore in profile dot object reference instance ID value does not equal 0, then we're going to do something else. Okay, so if it does equal anything, so we have a reference, then I think all we need to do is call start effects list dot on GUI. Pretty sure, and then we're going to need to call end effects list dot on GUI. Okay, and we're going to say if m set type dot int value does not equal int set type dot on start. Okay, looking good. I think so. This is going to be a little rough. So we're going to say editor GUI layout dot label field. We're just going to leave it like that for now. I'm going to come up here. We're going to say private static GUI content. We're going to say start values label is equal to new GUI content. Oops, semicolon, not colon. Start values. Let's go ahead and grab that. Paste this. Is going to be end values. The reason I create static labels is so that I'm not regenerating them every frame. So it's going to be our end values label. And then we're going to make this editor styles dot bold label. Okay. Let's go ahead and say editor GUI layout dot space. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Paste that here. Pretty much going to do a bunch of similar things. Paste this here. This is going to be our start values. Capital S. Okay. I think. Oh, hold on. I did that out of order. Not out of order. I just need to move this up to here. Okay. I think that will do what I want. However, oh no, I totally forgot something, which is this editor GUI layout dot property field m underscore start profile. Okay, let's go ahead and copy this. It's going to go down to here. It's going to be m end profile. Okay, and actually, before I forget, I'm going to wrap these, and I'm going to say editor GUI dot begin change check, and then after that I'm just going to say if editor GUI dot end change check. Then we're going to say start effects list is equal to, not is equal dot init, and then we're going to say m start profile dot. Pretty much I'm just going to grab this. Get object reference, and then serialized object. Okay, pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and copy this. We can copy this whole thing, can't we? I'm going to say editor GUI dot begin change check, blah, blah, blah. Looking good. Paste this down here. This is going to be our end effects list. End profile. All right, almost done. I think we can test it now. Oh, there we are. So I think everything's good to go. Let's see if I got that right. I'm legitimately curious. So I'm going to get rid of this abstract class. Then I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, I know. Hold on. Find all references. Just grab this. Paste you back there. Okay. And this is going to be adjust post-process profile behavior. Let's go ahead and grab all of that. I know you're not going to be happy. Don't worry, I will get rid of it. Peak, make this no longer an abstract class. And I am going to have to assign the start and end profiles to it as well. So let's go, where are you? Back to here. Paste that in, get rid of these tooltips, make these public. Okay, go back to here. We're just going to move, I think we're just going to move this all into the base function. I don't need to make it an initialize function anymore. And then behavior dot start profile is equal to start profile. Behavior dot end profile is equal to end profile. Okay, this is. I think we're pretty much good to go as far as looking at it in the editor. We're not quite done because we need to actually set up some fancy editor functionality to create these profiles and then to assign their values. So that's going to be fun. Man. I really hope that there's a duplicate function somewhere in the profiles that lets me just assign profile values from another profile. Because otherwise it's going to suck. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to here, King Petrification. I'm actually going to go ahead and create a new timeline track real quick. So adjust post process profile track. Let's open that up. Because since my scripts are all assembly definitioned, for some reason, Timeline does not want to pick them up unless they're in a specific track, because Timeline is stupid sometimes. TextQuest.timeline. We're going to say using Unity Engine.timeline. This is a track asset. We're going to have this be clip type is adjust post-processing clip. Of, then we're going to say track color, and I want this to be like an orangish, so I'm going to guess like 0.8 4 0. I don't think that's correct at all. 0.4, not 4. Okay, let's let that compile. So I should be able to create a adjust post-process profile track now. It should be orange, and I should be able to assign that those profiles. We will see what happens. It's going to be interesting. I really hope I don't have to do a null check, but I mean, even if I do, it's not too much of an issue. Hello, USA Flavor. Thank you for the follow. All right, so let's go ahead, and we're going to say create cpl.textquest. Yep, right there. Ooh, so close. I think I want to bump it up to 1 and 6. We'll do that in a second. So, yeah, there's the null reference. Give me a second here. Save these real quick. And I'm also going to come back to here. make this 1F and not 2F, come on, and then 0.6F. That should make it a little bit more orange. I don't know why I want it to be orange, but I want it to be orange. Okay, so now let's take a look. Oh, it's going to compile. I was really hoping that I would be fast enough to check out what the error was. I'm 90% sure that it's an error because it's trying to draw based off of something that doesn't exist, which is sad. If only I could scroll. There we go. Let's see. Value is null. Object reference was null. Yes. Oh. Interesting. I shouldn't init it if it's null? Is that what you're telling me? That's curious. Very curious. That can't be right. But it must be. Interesting. Let's go ahead and check. Let's close this. Close that. Okay. Of course, everything got all messed up. What the frig is going on here? Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. I don't need the track anymore. I don't need game settings or the options view. Here, that's what I wanted. Jeez, of course. So M target, which is our volume, the shared profile does that return something? No, it's just okay. So interesting. What does this do? Oh, it checks if it's null. Okay. Okay. I got you. Yep, that was me. That was me being stupid. All right. So instead of doing init here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function. And I'm actually just going to move this stuff up. Get rid of the second function. Let's come up to here, paste that in. All right, so we're going to change this, and we're going to call this refresh start effects. And all that's going to do is just this. So let's copy this, or cut it, I guess. We're going to say if start effects, hold on. If m start profile dot object reference inside e value does not equal 0. We're going to do that. So we'll also go ahead and say start effects list dot clear. Okay. Now let's go ahead and copy this, paste it down here. This is just going to replace all the starts with ends. And let's go ahead and copy this. End profile. Okay. I think we're good there. And now I can change this instead to be refresh. Oops, hold on. Refresh start effects, and then refresh end effects, which I think they were actually passing in a profile, weren't they? Which is curious. I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah, that's fine. So we're going to come down to here, and instead of doing, where are you? Instead of this, we're just going to call refresh start effects. Okay. And here we're going to call refresh end effects. And I think that's everything that I want, actually. So let's try that again. I'm a little bit more confident that it will work this time. And if this actually does work out pretty nicely, then this is a pretty useful timeline asset because it lets me arbitrarily adjust values on post-process profiles, regardless of whatever they have enabled or not. So it makes it much easier on me. Let's go ahead and clear this. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wait. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be at, actually, you know what? No, this is going to be, I'm going to create a new folder for new profiles, and I'm just going to call this like wizard appears, because that's where these are going to be used. Let's duplicate this profile. Move it up to here. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate this and duplicate it one more time. They are both way too long. This is going to be wizard appears end, which of course it didn't capitalize. Start, which means I now have to rename it to end 2 arbitrarily, and then I can rename it to just end. Because you can't let me have nice things. All right, so let's go ahead and assign this. So this is our wizard appears, and then wizard appears. Oh, that's our start value. We're gonna make this be on start and end. Interesting. We got a null reference exception. Let's try that again. Ooh, goody, 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 goody. What is going on here? In profile. Oh, well, that's of course. That's a bit of a problem. Let's go ahead and try that again. I love it when I have a misspelling like that. Also, yay, we have a much brighter orange now. It might be too bright. It's fine. Okay. It would be really nice if I could, oh, good, I can move again. Okay. Let's clear these out. Take a look at this. We're going to change this to on start and end. Good, we have both of our values. So here's our end, which of course did nothing. Let's go ahead and clear this. You are going to constantly do that, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, hold on. I think, yeah. Yeah, okay. Gross. Okay, yeah, I know what to do here. So we're going to come back to here. I hate doing this, but I understand it. So we're not going to call this here. Instead, what we are going to call is, Jesus, sucks so hard. Bool refresh start is equal to false. Bool refresh end is equal to false. Okay, we're going to come down to here. Let's go ahead and copy this. We're going to say if, sorry, no, refresh end, no, refresh end is equal to true. There we go. And then at the very end here, we're going to say if refresh end, boop, boop, okay. Grab this, refresh start is equal to true. And then we're going to come down here and say if refresh start. That's what we want. Okay. Let's try that. Yeah, this is, I've never worked with the post-processing editor stuff before. The solution I came up with at work was to kind of manually code around it, which is not, it's never a good idea to try and fight the Unity editor. Whenever, if you can, it's always best to use the built-in editor stuff, because then you don't have to worry about it, and then when Unity updates it, you don't have to redo your code. You can just piggyback off of what they do. Makes it a lot easier. So let's try this again. There, question mark we go. Oh, jeez, that's just... nope. We're just not cool enough, huh? Oi, okay. These are doing the correct ones, right? Start profile, start effects, start profile, start effects, start profile, end effect, end profile, end effects, end profile. Okay, that's all correct. And you you're still not really enjoying this? Okay. Perhaps. Well, let's see. End effects list. Is there a count? Nope, because why would you ever want to check if it's actually been valid or if it's actually valid? Um, okay. So let's let that compile real quick. I know I haven't actually changed anything. I need to see the errors again. Object reference is not set to an instance of an object. I know if I double click, it's going to recompile and pull up a bunch of warnings, and then I'm going to click on one of those, and then I'm going to be sad. Okay, here we are. Create editor. So I'm assuming that the asset is null, which is our problem. Which is especially bizarre. Is this in the onGUI function? No, it's in the init function. Okay. This is very interesting. Well, let's find out. So, where is this? Object reference value is equal to asset. Show copy. Multi-edit. Object reference is equal to profile. Object field in profile. Object reference value. Okay. So, how curious. What's the scope? Asset has changed. We set our reference value equal to profile, which is what we set the object field equal to. And what we do if asset has changed is, if it has changed, we clear our effects list. Perhaps but that seems redundant. Oh, well, no. Because this refresh effects list clears it. So why? Okay. Um, yeah, that's not ideal. Okay, so so I need to have a null check somewhere in here. But the question is where to put it. Because apparently just calling a blanket refresh is not good enough, since it seems like it won't actually return null, which is very troubling. Let's check the stack trace on this. 123, which is here. Interesting. Okay. So get object reference. All this does is basically just return object reference value st, which is the same thing that they're doing, except they're just casting it. This is strange. Am I not showing the proper field? Let's end profile and then start profile. No, that's correct. Okay. And our problem is, so let's clear that. Take a look at this. We have a null reference value coming from, let's see, 95. 95. The end effects list on GUI. Oh. Oh, okay. I think I want to do this actually. Not refresh. And let's try this. Refresh start. That makes sense. So, oh, yeah, that does make sense, actually. So what was happening there is I was assigning the profile and then it was initializing after I had told it to draw itself, which would explain why it wouldn't have worked, except that's really confusing because refresh end effects should have been called already, which is not great. So I don't think that will actually fix my problem. Nope, it will not. Still, effect editor. Yep, still 95. So we're still stuck here. Okay. Curious. But it's not. So it's not null, which means that it has been initialized. But it's not correct either. I really don't want to do the stupid object reference value stuff. Like I don't want to manually set this like this. It's a terrible thing to do it that way. But that is how they have it. Gross. Okay, let me see here. It's equal to profile, which itself is equal to the actual object field. I don't know if I want to do the scope stuff. That's super weird. I'm not a fan of that. All right, let's go back to here. Perhaps I can change this to be... Oh, wait, actually, hold on. Oh, I really don't want to do that. Screw it. We'll try it their way. This is going to be stupid. Okay. So we'll just comment out this block of code, and we're going to say var start profile is equal to post process profile object field. What is going on? Object field? Are you not going to... Oh, I'm so stupid. Editor GUI layout dot object field. Are they doing GUI? Oh, that's so stupid. Oh my god. They're manually building it. Oh god, this might complicate things. Let's hope I don't have to do that. I really don't want to. Alright, we're just going to say, for the sake of this new GUI content, start profile, followed by m start profile dot object reference value, type of post process profile with false as our final thing there. And I believe after that we just do a check. Yep. Okay. So we're just going to say if scope. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's because we're inside this. That's so hard. Okay, fine. God, they really did this in the most obtuse way. They're building everything from scratch. What is line rect? Good, it's at least just doing a get rect here, so it's not crazy. I mean, it's dumb. They're manually drawing the friggin' label. Although that's interesting and useful to know. Okay. So prefix label. Yep. God, this sucks. Yep. Yep. And yep. Cool. So I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to just comment that out. Comment you out. Go back to here. And I'm just going to look at the editor for the post-process volume. Should it ever deign to let me actually move around again. There we go. Right. That's interesting, though. They really... No, I shouldn't need to do something this crazy. I see what they're doing. They are probably building all of that so that they can do these fancy buttons. But I don't need that. I just need the profile, which is annoying. And I fundamentally do not think that it's going to affect me very much. So, let's try this a different way. Asset has changed. Let's try just grabbing the freaking asset. It's going to drive me nuts. All right. So we're going to get rid of this. We're going to go back to our previous method. And when we call refresh start, we'll call refresh start effects. Let's just freaking see. Debug .log start profile object reference ID value. If that's 0, it means that nothing is there. If it's not, then it means that, well, shoot, we know that it's not going to be 0 because it's right there. Okay, because we have a safety check there. So how can you think it's null? Because you want to drive me insane, that's how. Ay, 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 ay. Who would have thought that custom post-process effect editor scripts would be so freaking ridiculous to work with? Ugh, God, sometimes I hate Unity's editor functionality. Okay. So we totally have these things. We do at least have one thing. We have 2 things enabled. Some of them have controls enabled, so we should be able to draw. But problem is that it's not working. So where is the... What the frick? Okay, we got halfway down there. That's worth knowing at least. 0. Really? So, this is interesting. So, oh, that's because that's the end value. That's fair. That was me. That was me. Now the question here is, what is null on you? So we've made some progress, at least, in the sense that our editor apparently did actually do stuff. It's just not working. Okay, let's go ahead and clear this. I'm going to select this. We're going to clear this. I'm going to jump back to here. So sometimes it's broken and sometimes it's not. That's interesting. What about you? Can I assign you? No, I can't. So let's get rid of you and let's try assigning this to here. Oh, hold on. Let's try assigning that to you. Okay, so it immediately breaks, which means that it is indeed. Let's clear this. Go back here and then clear this. I'll not clear this, but see what it's doing. So let's just stack trace this. Post-process, clip editor, 77, which I'm assuming is just the on GUI call there. Okay. So we get to line 108 of effects editor. We get a create editor, post-process effects settings. I'm assuming that this asset is null somehow, which is curious. But why are you null? Oh my goodness, did I do something really stupid? No, okay. Phew. I thought for a second that I didn't initialize these two things, and I'm like, oh my god, is it just null? So that's not correct. So where does it go before that? Line 132 down to here. Refresh editors, which goes up to here, which gets called from onGUI. Okay. So that's interesting. We get past the M asset is equal to null bit because otherwise it would stop there. And it seems like we get to settings. I'm assuming then in that case that the settings are null here? That's curious. Well, let's check that. So right here, let's just say, before we do anything else, we're just going to say debug.log start profile.get object reference. Come on. Post process profile dot settings is equal to null. Let's figure out if they are null. Then we're going to figure out what the count is on them. Assuming it's a count, yeah. And then if that doesn't break it, then it must be a weird null value below the settings. Like one of the settings elements is null, which is odd. It's not what I would expect because I haven't done anything to them. All I've done is duplicate the profile. I haven't actually adjusted values on it or tried to do any fancy editor inspector stuff. So that's very strange. Looks like we got to 2. It looks like they were not false. Let's clear this. Come back to here. Okay. So the asset's not null, the settings are not null, and the settings have 2 objects, which is what we would expect. Value is null. Settings property. I don't understand. How on earth can... Oh, that's why. That's why. I'm passing in a serialized object that's incorrect. Okay. Interesting. Then it's not... Ah, there it is. Gotcha. Okay. So that was me being stupid. So I don't want to pass in this serialized object, which is the clip. Instead, I want to pass in a new serialized object that's a serialized object of the asset. So we're going to do this. Post process profile is equal to, it's just going to be this. Okay, so we're going to pass in the profile, and then we're going to say new serialized object profile. Cool. So let's go ahead and copy that. Move this to here. Grab this. Move that to there. Make that our start profile. I think I got it. Okay, so let's see what happens. Clear this. Yes! Okay, it's a little awkward because it takes up the entire freaking thing. At least I can collapse it though. Cool. So that works now. Let's assign our end values. Nice. Nice. Cool. So the next steps that we would want to do would be to basically retrieve these values at runtime. This is going to be fun, actually, so I need to change this to custom. Oh, that's right, I don't have that working. Um, so what I would probably do is, whenever custom is shown, we would see the start values profile here. Otherwise, we would not show that, and we would just show the end values, because if our values are supposed to be current, then it's just going to be whatever our profile is set to. We would still set the values on the start profile to be whatever those values are on the target profile, but we just wouldn't see it in the editor. So there are a few steps there. I'm going to go ahead and make some to-dos here. I'm going to come up to here. To-do. Hide start values if set or if start values property is not custom, and then to do actually lerp between start and profile values. So we're going to save that for later. Actually, I'm probably going to do it immediately after the stream ends. But it's been about 2 hours, and I think that's a pretty good place to end for the night. Just quit while I'm ahead, at least on the stream. So, announcements. Nothing really to announce. So I should be doing a Devstream on Saturday, and next week's Devstream schedule will probably be a little more sporadic because I am going to be I'm going to be getting my build ready for GDEX next weekend. So I might not be streaming next week. We'll see. I probably won't be streaming on next Thursday, or I most likely will not be streaming next Thursday, but maybe on Tuesday, we'll see. So I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.